Okay, so we're all pretty used to chatbots by now, right? They can answer our questions, they can write stuff for us. But what if we could build an AI that doesn't just talk, but actually acts? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, how you can build a basic autonomous AI agent that actually gets things done.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get clear on what an agent really is and peek under the hood at its core components. Then, we're going to walk through a really simple framework to build one. We'll also cover the single most important skill you need, which is crafting the perfect prompt, and even see how these agents can learn and improve on their own. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about what this all means for, the future of work.
All right, first things first, we really need to get our heads around the fundamental shift that AI agents represent. It's all about moving from an AI that just gives you knowledge to an AI that actually takes action.
And here's the crucial difference. You ask a chatbot how to do something, right? And it gives you a recipe, a set of instructions. It's providing knowledge. But with an AI agent, you just give it a goal. You say, scrape these leads for me, and it goes and does it. It takes direct action. It's the difference between getting a blueprint for a house and having a builder just go and construct it for you.
This quote from Nick Seriev just absolutely hits the nail on the head. When he talks about agentic workflows, he's talking about setting up a process that basically forces the AI to do things, not just chat about them. We are moving way beyond a simple conversation and into the world of autonomous execution. So what is it that makes an AI agent, well, an agent? What's the secret sauce under the hood? Let's break down the core components that give it these incredible new capabilities. At its heart, an AI agent isn't just some static piece of code. It's a system that can actually perceive its environment, which means it understands context, and then it can reason through a problem, create a plan, and pull out the right tools to get the job done, all by itself. You can think of these four abilities as the agent's brain. First, you've got planning, which is all about breaking a big, hairy goal into smaller, manageable steps. Then it uses tools, things like APIs or bits of code, to actually interact with the real world. Now, this next one is crucial, reflection. This lets it look at its own work, spot mistakes, and fix them. And it can even use multi-agent collaboration, working with other AIs to tackle really complex problems. Okay, that all sounds amazing, but how in the world do we actually control such a powerful autonomous system? We need a framework, a blueprint. So let's look at a simple but really effective one called Directive Orchestration Execution, or DOE for short. The first layer is the directive layer. Honestly, just think of this as the mission briefing. It's where you tell the agent what to do and why it's important. So if our goal is to create a weekly AI newsletter, the directive layer is where we set that big picture objective. Find the top 5 AI news stories, summarize them, and draft an email. Next up, we have the orchestration layer. This is basically the project manager for our little newsletter agent. It takes that big directive and starts figuring out the who and the when. It lines up the tasks, deciding, okay, first, use the web search tool to find the articles. Second, use the summarization tool on each one. And third, hand those summaries off to the email drafting tool. And finally, we have the execution layer. This is the agent's toolbox. It's filled with simple, super reliable code scripts that do the actual grunt work. For our newsletter, these are tools like a script that searches Google or one that formats text. And when we say they're deterministic, all that means is they do the exact same thing, perfectly, every single time they're called. This is what makes sure the tasks get done predictably and reliably. Now that we've got a framework, how do we actually, tell the agent what to do? This brings us to what is probably the most critical skill for anyone using this technology, writing effective prompts. Your prompt is literally the control panel. I mean, just look at this. The difference between a bad prompt and a good one is absolutely huge. On the left, a vague request like get verified users forces the AI to guess what you want, but on the right, a structured prompt is like a precise blueprint. It specifies the function name, the data format, even how to handle errors. The result? It's a night and day difference in the quality you get back. So, how do you build a great prompt every single time? It's easy. Just use this modular approach. First, give the AI a role, like you are a senior developer. Second, state the task as clearly as possible. Third, provide context and constraints, like telling it which libraries it's allowed to use. And finally, specify the output format. This 4-part structure basically turns your prompt into a perfect set of instructions. Here's another pro tip: chain of thought prompting. Just by adding a simple phrase like, let's think step by step, you force the model to show its work. Instead of just jumping to an answer, it breaks the problem down and explains its logic as it goes.
This dramatically reduces errors and makes the final output so much more reliable. Okay, so we can build an agent, and we can give it really good instructions. But what makes it truly autonomous? The answer is this incredible concept called self-annealing. And trust me, this is where the real magic happens. Self-annealing is the agent's ability to examine its own work, to check its own homework, find failures, and then correct itself, all without you having to step in. It's called annealing because, just like you heat and cool metal to make it stronger, the agent goes through these cycles of work and reflection to become more robust and way less likely to make mistakes. This is what turns a simple script into an intelligent, evolving system. And you might be wondering, does this stuff actually work in the real world? Oh yeah, the data speaks for itself. On a standard coding test, GPT-4 beats GPT 3.5. No big surprise there. But look at that third bar. That's GPT 3.5, the supposedly weaker model, but when it's wrapped in an agent workflow, its performance skyrockets past GPT-4. This tells us something absolutely incredible. The workflow, the process, is often more important than the raw power of the model itself. All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've talked a lot about the how, but let's talk about the so what. What are the real-world implications of being able to build these new AI coworkers? This right here is the big takeaway. The barrier to creating things is fundamentally shifting. For so many tasks, the most valuable skill is no longer the technical nitty-gritty of implementation. It's about clear communication. It's the ability to precisely and effectively describe your goal, and that democratizes building things in a really profound way. So I'll leave you with this to think about. When all that technical complexity just gets handled for you, and your main job is to define the what and the why, not the how, what are you going to build? What new ideas, what new tools, what new businesses are you going to bring to life?